communication scholar, I spend much of my time making a case for why words matter. Words form the foundation for language, and language is the primary way in which we construct meaning. And we will act toward others based on the meaning we assign them. Words matter. This is a picture of my friend's cat, Big Lincoln, man-spreading on her couch. The mouse is just a mouse. Cats and mice are creepy to me. Cats and mice are symbolic of something. Human beings have this canny way of storing memories. Over time, we build schemas, associative networks in the brain, where when one object comes to mind, it will activate thoughts about another object or an idea. Words that are representative of our knowledge of that original object. So for example, if I say ambulance, you might think of a fire engine truck, which might then cause you to think of the color red, which might then cause you to think of other primary colors. And the more often you're exposed to concepts together, the stronger that cognitive association gets. Which brings me to the focus of my talk today, the use of metaphorical language in political communication about immigrants. A metaphor, simply put, is something that is representative of something else. And metaphors are especially powerful because they allow us to assign additional meaning to an object. So in the same way that you can develop a schema around a fire truck or an ambulance, you can develop associative networks around immigrants. And one of the primary places we go to get language to help us cognitively conceptualize immigrants is found in political discourse. The ways in which politicians linguistically frame and ascribe meaning to immigrants, the use of othering words, dehumanizing words, metaphors that draw primarily upon imagery of animals, particularly vermin and rodents. Metaphors that are commonly found in the libraries of political leaders and in the library of the current President of the United States. So why does it matter? Why does it matter what language the President of the United States uses when he talks about immigrants? It matters because the presidency is also symbolic of something. The president is representative of this nation. The presidency is symbolic of American identity. I read a study recently that showed that metaphors that activated thoughts about rodents also activated thoughts about immigrants in the minds of many Americans. And in the case where American identity was central to a person, those metaphors actually increased feelings of disgust toward immigrants. So I want you to think about some of the words you've heard used by our president. Words like infest, swarm, invade, scurry. Here's what history has taught us. From the near annihilation of native peoples in this country, to 400 years of institutional slavery, to the massacring of millions of Jews in Nazi Germany, to the Rwandan genocide. Political language shapes public attitudes toward groups. And public attitudes toward groups shape public policy. And they shape behavior. Words matter. Words matter. Thank you.